Hi everybody, Dacob here. Welcome back to the Fashion Bunker. Today we're going to touch base on the top 5 perfumes for the month of July. Top 5. And for my patrons, stay tuned because this video, not only is it ad-free on Patreon, but we'll have a longer version for Patreon. So on Patreon, you're going to get to see also behind the top 5 perfumes for the month of July, on top of just the selection. So it's kind of like 2 videos in one for Patreon, literally, and 1 video for YouTube. So stay tuned for that, or join Patreon if you haven't, or consider joining. You get to see all videos ad-free that also hit YouTube, but also you get to see them before they hit YouTube, and also you get to see exclusives that never hit YouTube. Okay, let's get straight to it. This month is about time travel. I know that I often touch base on time when I talk about perfumes, but perfumes to me are quintessentially, they catapult me into the past, the future, the present. Sometimes I feel like I'm living in the past and a perfume catapults me to the present. And sometimes it's a present of another existence, of a vision that I have of something that I've never really lived, but a perfume triggers a memory of some sort of past life, you know? They're that magical. I'm wearing Benetton today from the sales that I've purchased. You could check out the huge Benetton haul I made on my channel in the card section and in the link in the description box down below. So as I said in that video, I would be wearing the pieces from that huge haul peu à peu, little by little, from video to video. So today I'm wearing the floral shirt. Love it. I'm loving it. It's the biggest size they have. And actually not the biggest, it's an extra large. First perfume. Now this floral pattern is interesting because we're talking 90s, reminiscing of the past. Benetton was huge in the 80s and 90s. So there's, again, you see there's a reason why everything is so connected. Mémoire d'une odeur. D'une odeur. Mémoire d'une odeur. The memory of an odor, basically. Now, I've reviewed this one. You could check out the review in the card section up above or in the description box down below. Link will be there. Not the most praising review that's out there on this one. Coty made it, and it has a cheapness to it. There's something synthetic-y in a way, in a bitey synthetic-y in there that's annoying. But after using it a lot and experiencing it a lot and living with it a lot, I've come to smell away that synthetic-y touch, and I just go for that weird Roman chamomile that they mention it having, and it really has it, and it's bitter. I've grown to like this one. I don't want to say love. Sometimes I crave it. I even crave it sometimes, but I'm appalled by it in a way. I do love it when it's on clothes or on paper. On the skin, first of all, it's gone in half an hour, but it kind of doesn't give me that punch that it could, that it does on paper and on clothes. And on paper, after that chemically note is gone, there's that oily type of chamomile scent that lingers on, even for days, on particular types of paper that are meant to be used to test out perfumes. So anyway, the memory of an odor. Now this one was released in 2019? Yep, 1st of August 2019. So it's almost basically a year old. Sorry, I gotta clean my nose. Not clean it, clear my nose. And it's like ginger with sushi. Like you need this to clean your palate in order to experience the next flavor of the next piece. So this one is great to begin the day of this transitional phase into time, because the chamomile sets the tone for a clean palate to travel. And it's called the memory of an odor. So what memories are we going to find on this trajectory of these 5 perfumes? Well, this is number 1, and it kind of initiates, it kind of welcomes us to the travel, to this super Dacob time travel perfume voyage 2020. What a year. And instead of going into the past, this one catapults us immediately into the future. Bam! And the second one, you're going to be shocked. Sauvage, the Parfum. Believe it or not, I really love this one. The more time passes, the more I love it. And it's, you guys, nobody has given this one the right credit. And it merits. And I know all of the perfume snobs out there that are, you know, into the niche and they know it best, and this is a mass release product and it's a panty dropper and the this and the that. They're going to hate it before even giving it a chance. Now, the Eau de Toilette and the Eau de Parfum, which I also have, I've reviewed all three. So you could check out the review of all three of them. 3 different videos. Eau de Toilette, Eau de Parfum, and the Parfum. Link will be in the description box down below. The POUR perfume. It took me really a lot. Many, many, many months to get to the core of it. It's not one that lets you in so easily. It doesn't. But, and I said, Memoire d'une Odeur catapults us into the future, but this one has already been released. This one is also a year old. This one is also having its birthday now, 2019. I think, yeah, 2019. I say the future because even though this one is now in the present, very actual, and it's been released last year, so actually it's also part of the past, this type of approach to perfumery, to me, of all the perfumes I've smelled lately, this is the one that most kind of projects me into the future of what perfumery is going to be. And I know this is crazy to say because this one, it's a love or hate. With this one, I know most people just don't like it, but most other people do. If you really, really, and I know it's super hard for us, we're very judgmental creatures. Human beings we're born to judge. We're born to always have an opinion about everything. I say in our society, even truth has its own opinion, or several sometimes. So it's very tricky to be a human being, especially nowadays. But if you manage to strip yourself of preconceived notions and the snobbery of it all, you know, perfume world, just like the makeup world, can be quite snobby and douchey. And I did review the Eau de Toilette and I called it the douchebag we love to hate or we hate to love. If you kind of take away all of that and forget the Eau de Toilette and forget the Eau de Parfum and just analyze this one alone, and it will give you literally a hint of what the future is. Trust you me, it really does. And I'm going to spray it on now, and this one's hardcore. It's so awkward that people also review it saying that it lasts only half an hour, then it's gone, you don't smell it anymore, you know. It's not the case. You know what's so bizarre about this one? The more you puddle spray, the more close to the skin you spray it, the more you kind of do that intense amount, and the sooner it's going to vanish. But I have to go away because I have a lot of really delicate things here. When you spray it the way I'm going to show you now, it lasts like 3 times as long than if you overdid it in one spot. That's so bizarre. But that's also a mystery that's going to be solved in the future. So look, literally just like that, just that little mist. And it just caresses you. It falls onto you like hints of powdery, it's like barch of, it's like smoke, it's like dried up wood, it's like wet soil, it's wax but mixed with hay. And it just caressed you a little bit, and it's going to take some time. It's super intense. It also has a licoricey type of cherry tone in there. There's so much when you really give it that distance and you give it just that caressing waft, you know. The LME is there. Of course, we know LME is a fundamental factor, but when you allow it to just caress you, it's summer, winter, spring, and fall. I mean, it's really that good. The POUR perfume. Demachi, you've messed up a lot of perfumes at Dior. You've created this one. Kudos to you. Don't mess it up. Keep the formulation as is, at least for me. Or let me know if you're going to change it so I stock up on this one, because it's grown on me, but that's it. You see, I have a tendency of overspraying all my perfumes. Not this one. 1 to 2 sprays, that's it. I put it here just to be able to talk to you and smell it. But usually I would spray it on my chest, just like from this distance, just once. That's it. Anyway, it's a rediscovery of a future. It's like something I didn't really like, or thought I wouldn't like, or thought I didn't like. And then all of a sudden, whew, it surprised me. In the future, it told me things that it didn't want to tell me a year ago. And it tells me a lot of stories. The next story, or the next chapter in this trajectory that we're going through, is perfume number 3. Perfume number 3 being another Dior, the 2014 formulation of Dior ADDICT, the Eau de Parfum. Now, here's the twist. Because we've put Sauvage here, and we have it in the background, it's kind of, the molecules are still floating in the air. There's a certain type of bitter sweetness about it. So you smell that, and you have the molecules in your nose, and then you top it off with this. You guys, it's like pudding. I know it sounds creepy. It's like pudding. It's like chocolate vanilla pudding. Just taken out of the fridge. It's cold, but it's soft. And it's not jello. It doesn't wobble. It's pudding. It's soft. It's dense. You could kind of go into it. And it's sweet, but cooling and soothing. Not overcloying. So the funny thing is, Sauvage Parfum talks to me about 2014 ADDICT with all of its night blooming, the queen of the night, or the night blooming cacti. But this one, of course, tells me, Dacob, don't you forget where I'm coming from. The original. Here it is. The first release of Dior ADDICT. Oh, God. The liquid in here is red, literally. And it's a 20 milliliter Eau de Parfum vial. You see it still has its dark blue on dark blue inscription there, Dior ADDICT. You guys, this is when our beloved Galliano was still at Dior. There you have it. And then you just turn this to activate or block the sprayer, which is here. So now it's locked. Yeah, 0 is locked. So the CD has to align. So if it's... But anyway, it doesn't matter. We're not going to review this little bottle. By the way, I did the review of this one as well on my channel, so check that out. I've also done a review of this one. Check out both. Link is in the description box down below, but also in the card section up above. This one is, of course, light years more intense than this one, but both of them are at number 3. They're at number 3. Here you take the lid off. Here the lid doesn't go off, just twists. They're both at number 3 because, and they're both in the past, 2014 and 2002-ish, 2001, I don't want to make mistakes, 2002, ADDICT. It's a fading photograph. The Polaroid was taken in 2002. And by 2014, it started to fade. The colors start to fade. There's a poetry to it. It's like we bumped from, we started with this notion of wanting to remember a smell. Memoire d'une odeur was the first one. And then before we get to touch base on the past, we jump into the future with Sauvage Parfum. And then we slowly start backpedaling and we go to Dior ADDICT. And then Dior ADDICT tells us this is 2014. It's a fading picture of 2002. And then we start realizing the beauty and the poetry of the fact that perfumes, they evolve and change with time. Yes, because the IFRA regulations or because the manufacturers have changed and the brands can't work with them anymore and certain ingredients are copywritten by certain manufacturers, so they have to start using other ingredients if they go to other manufacturers and so on and so forth. But nevertheless, ADDICT throughout the day, even if it's used after Memoire de Odeur and after Sauvage, it gives me that sweet vanilla touch. And even though it gives me the memory of the past and the fading future, it's funny how they say usually the past should fade, but in this case, in perfumes, they still keep producing them. So the future is fading, not the past. So you get desperate and you grasp on to what you know. For each and every one of us, it's different. What we know, what we hold on to, what we grasp onto. It's different for each and every single one of us. But my number 4 fragrance is connected to a person. It's connected to an actress. It's connected to an actress that has ruled the world. She's no longer with us. But whenever you watch a documentary about her life, whenever you watch any interview with her and you see all the struggles and trouble and torments she had to go through her life, you always realize that she always manages to find strength and a good and positive word to keep you going for the future, to keep you active. She keeps telling you, don't you worry, you're a fighter. You're going to get through this. You're going to make it through this. When you're at your lowest, stand up, dress up, be fabulous, and keep walking. So I grasp onto a memory of things that make me strong to look towards that fading future. And the future is fading because our lives are also not unlimited. We're also all going to die sooner or later. We're perishable goods, you guys. So the future does fade because we will fade. And as that notion comes really powerfully to your mind, to your consciousness, and you're aware how limited you are, you grasp to the past. Smell-wise, I go to Elizabeth Taylor's Passion. Now, this is also a fading future concept because this bottle is from maybe 4 years ago, but it's, it's a reformulated version. I showed you the back of it. This is the front. Elizabeth Taylor has gone through reformulations. We're talking 1988. And do I have Elizabeth Taylor? No. My problem with Elizabeth, this is the only problem I have. I can't find the perfumer. Now, I know that the perfumer is out there somewhere. We'll get to him. But, oh, that smell. This is when the evening starts kicking in. And Passion is the epitome of the 80s and 90s. And the bottle is this purple, it's purple like Elizabeth Taylor's famous purple eyes, which were not really purple, but they kind of reflected light and shimmered in a purple way. This is more or less the only kind of star perfume or fragrance that I love, and triggers so many memories and funny story behind it. Thank you to Lanier Smith for bringing it to my attention. By the way, check out Lanier's channel, best perfume reviewer, and would be also best perfumer if he would make a perfume ever. He loves Elizabeth Taylor very much. So he told me that she met Coco Chanel once. And I mean, long story short, Coco basically at the Ritz, they had dinner and she told her, "You're not going to be young and beautiful forever. Develop a perfume. It's the best way to make money. I've done it. You should do it too. Definitely make your own perfume." And Elizabeth Taylor, a couple of years later, followed, over a decade later, followed the tip. And her first fragrance, Passion, came out. And so it's kind of connected to Chanel as well, even though it came out almost 2 decades after Chanel's passing, after Coco passed away. Coco passed in 71, and this one came out in 1988. 80s in a bottle. Powdery, synthetic-y, shoulder paddy, 80s in a bottle. And I live for it. In the reformulated version, it doesn't have the beautiful dry down that it used to have in its original formulation, but it's still wonderful. It's still worth having, and it's a cheapie nowadays. You can get it for really very little, and it's amazing because it's gonna, even though you weren't born or lived in the 80s and 90s, you're still gonna smell out something different in this one than you would in perfumes that are developed today. There's nothing 80s in Mémoire d'une Odeur. Nothing. There's a concept of plants used for perfumery, and that triggers past memories maybe. But the 80s are a synthetic decade. They are synthetic. And to experience that syntheticity, you need to smell either Giorgio Beverly Hills or Passion or Liz Claiborne. But damn, this is good. Or you go to the fifth fragrance. 1985, the middle of the 80s. The fifth perfume is Obsession by Calvin Klein. 1985, you guys. And what version do we have? We have the Pure Perfume in this very heavy, thick glass bottle, splash bottle, designed by Pierre Dinant, the same perfume bottle designer that designed Opium for Yves Saint Laurent, and also a lot of other wonderful, actually I have it here, the same guy that designed Opium. He also, coincidentally, designed this beauty here, Moschino's first wine bottle-shaped perfume, Moschino. Okay, anyway, back to the fifth perfume. Obsession, I've never spoke about this one before. I've never mentioned it before. I've had it for a while. I mean, I've had it for many, many, many years. The Pure Perfume, since a couple of months. It was really hard to hunt down, especially to find it in such good condition with this beautiful golden ambery liquid. Look at that golden amber in there. Usually, you know, when you find Obsession, it's kind of turned to mud, a muddy black color. But to have it this beautiful ambery, this is still the original color of the liquid. If you see photos of the perfume advertisement from the 80s, this is the color of the liquid. So to have it in this original also art bottle and packaging, it's just hypnotic on its own. But I have had Obsession. This is the Eau de Parfum pre-Coty era, because Coty bought Calvin Klein perfume, so now everything has changed and everything smells different. So I do have this intermediate formulation of the Eau de Parfum. By the way, if I said it before, I have to rectify. This is the Pure Perfume. Very rare. They're not in production anymore. They only produce the Eau de Parfum, which is amazing too, but it's even more cloying than the Obsession from the 80s, because a lot of ingredients have changed, and we kind of tend to, as I said before, the future fades the past, or the present is fading in the future. Well, the past is fading in the future. It's very complicated, but Obsession is great for the night because there's something about its smell. Yeah, you obsess about it, but there's a danger in it. There's something, it's a beautiful ambery, vanilla-ishy, hints of smoky chocolate fudge smell. But it's irritating. And it's irritating because it tells you in a way, be careful, it warns you, and Obsession can be very dangerous. And so there's danger in this smell. This smell is intoxicating, it's alluring, it's attractive, but at the same time it's telling you you might not end very well if you go down this route. There's an episode of The Golden Girls where Dorothy, it's just kind of mentioned on the side because, you know, the Golden Girls were shot mostly in the 80s, and so this was the era, the period when Obsession was released. It was released in 1985, but commercials kept going on through till the 90s. So she says, you know, I can't make out anything about the commercial from Obsession. I do not understand it. Actually, she says that Rose doesn't understand it, but I guess she doesn't understand it either. Doesn't matter. Point of the matter being that one of these commercials, the famous one, still photography image of Kate Moss that also made her famous. She was already up and coming, but the vision that we have of Obsession is a naked Kate Moss in black and white. But the video commercials shot for Obsession, one of them is showcasing this family inside of a very architectural, abstract concept of a building, not a building, family. And the father and the mother, they're like obsessing about stuff. Did he betray her? Did she betray him? The kid passes by. Is he going to leave her? Is she going to leave him? He's fantasizing about something. She's fantasizing about something. It's like a theater speech in a commercial, very abstract. And for the 80s, for the standards of the 80s, it was considered over the top. Now, when you see it, you think, oh, cute, interesting concept. We're used to seeing more nowadays, but nevertheless, it's a very great testament to the 80s, and even the commercials are dangerous. Even that photo of Kate Moss looking straight into the camera, vulnerable as she is in the flesh, in black and white, she's looking at you, but you don't know, is she afraid of you? Or is she a wildcat? She's going to jump at you at any second, and she's going to tear your face off. That's what Obsession is. And that's why it's the 5th perfume, because you use it at night. Because you don't know what the night brings. You don't know what your dreams bring. Are they going to bring visions of the past? Are they going to show you what the future will bring? Are your dreams going to tell you where you're coming from or where you're going? Or is it going to be a dreamless night because it's maybe a sleepless night? Sleepless because you have insomnia, or because you're having the wildest sex that you ever had in your life, or because you're afraid of something and you just cannot find the peace to sleep. For all those instances that I've just listed and many more, Obsession is perfect because it underscores fear, pleasure, pain, sorrow, hope, underscores the future, the past, and the present. The present can be the most painful of everything because it's in the now. If you feel pain, you're feeling it now. You don't feel pain tomorrow. That's a different story. You feel it now if you have it now. The pleasure is now. Hunger, now. Being satiated, or the feeling of satiation, now. When we write about a feeling or an emotion, we feel it in the moment we write about it. And then it's written in stone for future generations to read about. That emotion that for them has become your past. But for them it will be the present, because when they read it, they might come really close to feeling exactly what you felt when you were describing that emotion in the moment you were feeling that emotion. The same applies to perfume. All of these 5 are puzzles. They're a mystery to me. They always will be for the rest of my life. I'll never really get to know them fully. I'll never get to understand them fully because I'll never get to know and understand myself fully. But no matter how you combine them, if Obsession is the first one, and then Sauvage is the second, and then let's say Passion is the third, and Memoire d'une Odeur is the fourth instead of the other lineup that I mentioned before, it doesn't matter. No matter how you put them, they form a puzzle, like a mosaic of something that tells you. It kind of hints to you, like, this is what you're made of. This is exactly who you are. But you'll never quite be able to grasp it. You'll never be able to reach and grab that what you are. But you'll get really close to it. And with every new sniff, with every new smell, with every new trial and tribulation, and with every new re-spritz of this perfume, or any of these, in any given order, you'll get closer. You'll get one step closer. One step closer. And then you're going to realize, maybe I got to travel back in time because maybe around that corner back there, there was something I forgot. And then you're going to reset the clock and you're really going to go back to Memoire d'une Odeur and be like, ah, okay, now I get it. Okay, now I can jump ahead. I can jump ahead to Passion. And you get that powdery memory, but then you're like, wait, what happened that other night? Addict, the queen of the night. Soft, tender vanilla. Danger. Obsession, you know? Lingering notion of the future. Sauvage. And you just keep, even smelling them out of the bottle, it's a roller coaster ride. And that's the beauty of perfumes. I mean, July, it's a very conceptual month for me. I'm using perfumes as literal time travel bubbles or keys to conceptually understand where I'm coming from, where I'm going, where I am at right now, because the world, God knows, is not giving me any answers at the moment. Politics are not giving me any answers at the moment. This is the worst time to live in, but also the best, because you have so much time to spend with yourself in a way, and that time that you spend with yourself, use it to good use. Instead of spending your days on Twitter and on social media bashing and canceling other people, why don't you stop for a second and deal with yourself? Look in the mirror, baby, and deal with yourself, because trust you me, there's a lot of ground to cover. Before you can really say that you're at peace with yourself, you have to walk the walk. And I don't know, because I'm nowhere yet. But, you know, Socrates also always said, the only thing I know is that I don't know anything. That's the only certainty we have, is that we do not have full knowledge. That's the only thing you can know. Everything else is pretentious. Everything else is arrogance. Everything else is an ego trip. And God knows we got the biggest egos in power in most places, unfortunately. But considering all this, there's not many people that reach the end of their life and they're at peace knowing that they are who they are and where they are. But getting as close as possible to knowing any of those things, or just maybe even feeling them, is worth living and worth using perfumes for. Thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, don't forget to never give up on love. And for my patrons, don't give up on love and wait, because right after this video, we're going to keep going into the next video. Subscribe to my channel here on YouTube. I'm also on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Super Dacob, all spelled together. Until next time, never forget to never give up on love. Love you all. See you soon. Take care. Bye.